when we are saying that there is no one is done, alleging anyone done is punishable under law. It's crime. And alleged crime, alleging someone in any name, whether it is Danny or we or Dan or student.
Welcome to Witch Hunt, the show bringing you news of the ongoing crisis of harmful practices related to accusations of witchcraft and ritual attacks. I'm Josh Hutchinson.
And I'm Sarah Jack. Today, we are discussing a critical and contemporary issue: violence against persons accused of witchcraft.
Around the world, accusations of witchcraft continue to lead to horrific acts of violence. These accusations often result in social ostracism, physical assaults, and even murder.
Joining us today is a remarkable guest who has dedicated her life to fighting against these injustices. Sashiprava Bindhani, a human rights advocate and a legal expert from the Indian state of Odisha, has been at the forefront of combating witch hunting and advocating for the protection of vulnerable individuals.
Her work has led to significant legal reforms and raised critical awareness about the plight of those wrongfully accused.
Sashiprava's journey is both inspiring and sobering. From her early experiences to her groundbreaking public interest litigation, she has witnessed firsthand the devastating impact of witchcraft accusations.
Her efforts have not only brought legal recognition to these issues, but also highlighted the importance of changing societal perceptions and providing justice for victims.
In this episode, we will hear from Sashiprava about her personal experiences, the cases she has fought, and the changes she is striving to implement.
We will explore the psychological and societal dimensions of witch hunting, the role of the law in protecting human rights, and what more needs to be done to eradicate this practice.
Stay with us as we delve into this urgent and impactful discussion. Let's start by welcoming our guest, Sashiprava Bindhani. Hi, Josh. Hi, Sashi. It's so great to see you.
Hi, it's so nice to see you again.
Hi,
Sarah and Josh.
it's so nice to meet you, Sashi.
Yeah, I'm so
Yes.
Thank you for coming to talk to us today about your work. Could you tell us about your background and professional experience?
just in 2022, I completed my tenure as the State Information Commissioner in Odisha. And I have my childhood is there in Mayurvanch. I like to little bit of Mayurvanch. Mayurvanch is the last country state merging to Government of India in 1949 January. And still now it is an undivided district and the largest district where the population of the tribal people is more than general people. Basically, my study, that means training is in law, and I started working with another organization that is the Human Rights Law Network in 2007. And that time I was exposed to the area of the violence related to communalism in Orissa. And that time also I filed some cases in the court of law in Orissa and in the Supreme Court. And there was a lot of that way. We had very good orders from the High Court of Odisha and Supreme Court of India. And that gave me a different type of confidence to go ahead with taking the law into the process. And also another thing is to create the trust of people on law, because legislation are the area which can make people that can bring change in people other than the social process, because it is above everything. And in relation to witch hunting, as I have mentioned, that is a part of my um, psyche from the very childhood. When I lost my mother at I was 2.5 years old, and I have my second mother in the home after 2 years. And when she came, socially the people used to tell stepmother. Okay. So it was something like what I today also I think that alleging women in a different name them as a woman is, I can say, it's a crime. Also, mother is mother, calling her a stepmother. Also, instigating me to think about that way. I was always preventing that thing because my experience with my mother was very close, and that was different bonding. And the society was alleging a woman as stepmother. I was fighting against that. So that was very much in my psyche even now, that arresting a woman because someone is unassuming, versatile, different from other people, and not very much a common way behaving without any question. Means questioning, women who questions also part become the victim of allegation or alleged crime. This was something somewhere in my mind. Then in 2011, when came in the Moirvans in my district, news came up in the English daily that I'm not mentioning her name here because she's having her life now differently, living in a peaceful manner. So she killed her sister's mother-in-law and came to the police station and surrendered herself, alleging her that lady as a witch and is the cause of all the misfortune happens to their family, the community, the village, that area. This was something too much for me because of right that also I was working towards the prevention of human rights in the state of Odisha in India. Then I was involved in doing a very small analysis of the cases related to witch hunting. It was that the killing or the crime or the violence, they're not treated under differently, that it is alleged crime against women, and the violence is related to witch hunting or witchcraft or witches. I'm using three words: witch, witchcraft, and there I find that we need to go for a separate law to prevent such violence because it is something in the society, in the mind of the people, and they rampantly the instigator, especially in the case after this, which I filed the case in the court of law, 2011 July, that the girl who killed her sister's mother-in-law was having one male friend who was very much interested to get the land which was belonging to the family.
Oh,
So when he was not able to get it in a general way or in a simple way, he actually instigated this girl that the lady is responsible for all these things, which so she should be killed. Actually, that lady was taking decision on behalf of girl family also. So she was one of the person who was preventing the transfer of the land to her boss. Later on, when she was taken by the law and she was put in a correctional home, then I had interaction with her. Then I find her that the instigator, that means her boyfriend, is no more in the picture at that time. After often, actually, from analysis of more than 3 years cases in the Mairway, I find that the instigator is not coming into the purview of the law. The person who was being instigated by the instigator is committing the crime, and she or he is going to the custody of the law. So my prayer was also in my PIL, that is Public Interest Investigation 2011, to frame yeah, that means the law should be framed that way. The instigator come to the purview of the law. So my journey started in a different way from the filing of the PI in Court of Law in 2008. So, as regard to my expertise, in way I have, as I mentioned, I did my postgraduate in philosophy, then I did my law. My work towards everything was through the process of looking at that the citizen, being the citizen, how can I assert my right being the citizen? That three things are there. That to globally you'll see that everywhere the rights of citizen is to have a life of peace, security, and dignity. The same way the citizen has the responsibility to look after others, peace, security, and dignity. So that's what my whole thinking. That way, you can say that I look forward to make people more responsible as they are of their state, of their country, in the global arena.
Uh, What are some experiences people have had as victims of witch hunts?
My experience with childhood, as I mentioned, another incident also I have to mention here. When I was only 4 or 5 years old, I don't remember the age, but it is in the month of years. My father is a journalist, but he was a journalist just recently in this January at the age of 100, he passed away. And he was a journalist photographer. It was early in the morning. There was a phone call from the police station. I used to go around the places with him most of the time in my childhood. So that day also there was a call. I told that I must go with him. Then he reluctantly allowed me. Then we walked down to the police station. It was very near to our home. Then when we arrived there, the old man was sitting there with the feeling of the pride that he has done a great, was holding a head. I was able to see that wrapping one towel, traditional towel, the head and the white hair packed with the blood. It was terrible for me that the blood means something, and the small one meant it must be head. So there was a lot of story around also Dahani. So then after my father was a police photographer. So when he took the photograph of the person, so I was not allowed to go inside. But I got the first glance that this is what he's holding. And he was very happy. And he came to the police station. Earlier, there was a trend that people used to kill the women and used to come to the police station and surrender them that we had killed the Dan. So we did a great thing because he was responsible for lot of such stories around that also. There is lot of story. I might have seen that way more than 40 head during my lifetime and mostly in my district. That's why I mentioned about my dream. So first the things I asked my father and my grandfather, there is any witch or it was not a witch. I'm not saying witch. I'm saying that Dahani is not the Uriya of witch. We is just not witch. Okay. Then when I asked, no, there is no such thing. The people think they used to accuse most women as them. Still it is not there. So that was the thing in me came from my father and grandfather. Oh, there's no such thing. So I make up fine. Later on, I started working towards the women who are victim of children. So this was my first experience with Dahani, the violence related to Dahani. Then there was many such cases I have seen, mostly my father. He used to go and take them. So it was not only related to the honey, many other things in my life, good things, bad things I have witnessed in my childhood. And then later on, this after the filing of the now before the filing of the thesis, I have went through my special migrant. I made people those who were in the jail in the acquisition of the crime committed. Um, that means killing women and killing Bunia, the witch doctor, and are already in the custody or in the jail. The story, there are many, the, not the story, it is life story was narrated by them. And the most heinous situation I came to know in 2015, but not directly, but it is through newspaper. Later on, all the cases was through newspaper, or I used to talk to people, or I can meet some people, but I cannot just disclose their identity. Then through newspaper, then I have interacted with them. It was not public meeting. I have made them in isolation because to keep their interview with me confidential. The people minds are always prejudice mind. So I have never exposed them with the story, with their story. So, but one thing has happened that was terrible for me, that it is not only in the rural state people used to allege women as Dahni, but alleging women in different way. So that crime has the alleged crime different cases. I can say one example. It is not an example. It is that people's life story. That is where when that is the last part of 2008, after my interaction with people in that is called Fulbani. I was working in Fulbani, where in 2007, 8, the violence related to communalism was in a very bad state. But I'm not using now that communalism one, because it's also alleged right, women. So women always women are victims of any such situation. When suppose something is happening in the community, it turns to the women who used to give support community during the necessity, especially when the women and children they get sick. So these are the women who provide the knowledge for that is, you can say indigenous knowledge which has come from to them from generation. So in another district, adjacent to that Fulbari, the two women of a family were alleged to be the honey because they were having that they are very much popular among the community, and the lady, one of the lady who was tested to be the leader in the panchayat community level, that is panchayat is for taking some villages together. Panchayat is one of the unit. Then blocks, village, panchayat, then block. So she wanted to be the head of the panchayat. Then she made such a situation by telling people, some young people, then they went to tell the community that these two women are the honey. Because of them, there were other incidents placed during that time. So because of them, all the accidents and other things are happening. So we must condemn them. They must admit themselves that they are done. They made them make it. They made them publicly. They made them to parade, and they put black and white on their body and saying that until unless you admit that you were the Daphne, we will not leave you. By coincidence, one of their native was in the police, so he came to rescue these two ladies, saying that, okay, I'm arresting them. It was in 2010, in November, right? It was in 2010 now. I'm arresting them, and so I'm taking them as a son. Yes. Later on, I made them, both of this lady with their husband. I made them in an isolated place, not disclosing what is happening. The story they mentioned that they are very good in managing the child health, the community level. And people used to come to them even during the pregnancy. If there is any difficult pregnancy, so they used to come to them. This thing ma- made them more popular than the lady who was interested to stand for the head of the panchayat. So they told the young people that you can go and tell that the God has told that these two women must be killed because they are Dakhani, and because of them, all other is happening. So this is this what I'm sharing with you, that this is not limited to this two incidents. In the during my working with the human rights law network, many people used to come for the legal assistance. So my expertise is also to connect people for the legal relief, legal work, also to develop the document for them to file the, before the law. The women who came to me for first help to her maid servant, I came to know that she was actually at home. Her husband was there outside India, and she is the one, that means she is the only child of her parents. And that time they both family were family friends. From the very childhood, they have been both together, and she got married guy from the other family. So I'm making it a little bit shorter because what. So she was alleged with having bad eye on others. So she was kept isolated to have put together. Why? Because she refused uh, tell her own parent that they should transfer the property in her husband's name because the only daughter. They should put property to their name. So that time she was staying with her husband and outside India, came back from that place to India because he was used by, that means her husband was using her for other purpose. Forced her. So not using. She was forced to use by her husband to go to and stay with other men. Otherwise, he was torturing her. So she came back from that place, and this was also in the knowledge of the mother-in-law. And when she came back, she was not able to have that much of strength to share with her mother-in-law nor with her parents. So, but seeing that she is having a very bad eye, so she should be kept isolated from the total household thing. And so this thing, that is what I'm saying, that the one level, people used to pretend in different way. So one maid servant was attached to her. She was going outside for shopping or going to cinema or having food outside. But at home, she was tortured by her mother-in-law and other men. The maid servant was aware about it, and she came to me and told that happening. So you must help her. What is my point is here that when the property thief is coming, or all the occasion of marriage is coming up, yeah, I should not say it is a dowry thing, but it is a dowry that give during the marriage, young sister. I will tell about that dowry thing also later on. Same way, it is a different facet of running a woman as the honey and torturing. Anyway, what happened later on that time, my case was not filed in the High Court, as I told you in 2007. So I took a very different state. That means I asked her, you are educated. If you are going for divorce, if you are agree, then we have to do this immediately. Then she said, my father, I am the only child. Then somehow I made. her parents, and we did decide that she should go for a divorce. And we did this thing with the legal advice, and within a very short week, the divorce was done. And she was married to another guy and now living peacefully and having child. So the question here is that when someone is protesting against a power, the mother-in-law is the power that she knows that this is what is happening, and the other part of the thing, the property of the women. She would have done this in a different way, but another situation of alleging a woman having bad eye is also something like Dahani or the. So what is my point? This was also experienced before filing case in the High Court. Later on also, my interaction with different group, different level, different forum, that when I ask people that whether they believe that they are Dahani or not, interestingly, we are in the mind of the people, whether it is the rural area, in Mumbai, in Bhubaneswar, in India, in other part of the state capital, country capital, believe in it. How? They are not clear about that whether there is Dahani or not. Maybe in the state, Odisha, we use a different word, Dahani. Hindi, it is Dayan. In other part, it is Chude. The thing is that still in the mind of the people that they believe that women are having such lot of confusing stories in their mind. Somehow they are not clear about whether there is Dahani or not. That's why my blog, I launched this blog saying that there is no Dahani. No woman is Dahani. Alleging women as Dahani is a crime punishable under law because we have the legislation. So this is one thing to prevent these things, that putting these things in the mind that that is the law, we cannot say women is done. It's just a beginning. And my advocacy there is I'm trying to say that if you believe that there is no done, then join with. It's also another type of experiment with the people's mind, making it public and inviting public opinion that if you believe that the women are not done, then join your voice, add your voice to her. Bhamati Rostaro. So it is already 2.5 years. It was last on 19th of December 2021. Until that, the response, within that period, I might have texted more than 1,000 emails, more than that way, hundreds of what to people asking this question. There is no done. If you think that there is no done, it's add your voice. Still think there is done. Our strategy needs to be done different now because by launching my experience that we must go very strategic. And maybe legal fee is one of the things we can use for prevention.
Thank you so much for talking to us about those experiences. Can you tell us about what a public interest litigation is and how you have used that to raise awareness and change minds?
As I mentioned, before when it is coming public interest litigation, before that I had a very good another public interest litigation. So that gets me thank do these things also. And when in 2011 it happened in my I was having a major operation. So my husband called me from Bangalore, where I am now. So he was there at that time. What? Doing it already? You see the today's newspaper. This is a full page news item. That girl is holding the beheaded that body of sister's mother-in-law with one aluminium bucket. That big ball. So they are holding, and that photograph came up. They get goosebumps in my body. They're doing what for last few years. Why you are not going for filing a public investigation report? That was what that was in the month of May. May 10th, 2011. I filed it 2011, July 15th. Last part of the July, last year. It came up in the High Court on 3rd of August. The matter was taken by the High Court on 3rd August 2011. So this before that, in 2007, 8, there was different type of hall in Odisha. And in 2008, August, there was a situation, uh, one religious, no, I'm not religious that way, but I'm stating the incident was killed in, on the district of Kurban. So I was looking after the unit of human rights law network in Odisha. I was the state director for human rights law network. So the public litigation, they are filing public litigation, filing cases of law for the prevention of human rights. Different area. Maybe you can Google HRLA. So it is a national organization. And my orientation was also on human rights when I joined in 1985, the district court. The completion of my law, I joined the lawyer in the district bar in my rooms. Management. So I joined the group, those who were working for the human rights. All right. At that time. I met my husband there. 4th of last May 5. Yeah. And I started working with them that time. What happened at this case, in this case, I Pulbani, when one religious guru was killed by people, so there was a lot of violence all over state and all over India. So there were uh, mass murder of people when a particular leader came to that place and marched from one place to another place about 40 kilometers with team member. People were being killed on his way to other place. So it was being informed because I was the state director for that organization. So I was informed, then I started intimating the district collector about. Later on, some lawyers might go were taking into custody. Uh, there is no details information how they are being taken into custody of the police. But what happened? I went to court of law for 2 days of hearing of the Dharma Guru, then asking the police the special protection for the people who have fled away to the forest because of the situation in that area. Then it was not possible for me to uh, go and meet people, but I could give an interim order to the government to depute more forces there. But during that time, group of people came up with a campaign that they will march from particular place all over place of the state. During this period, when I asked for the um, rapid action force for protection of the people, those who were not in the villages, and this march of the leader, there was violence through the state, through the district all over India. About 28 states were affected, and all through the state, 30 districts were affected by that. Lot of people were being killed, and lot of destruction was also attacked because of that type of march. Then I could not able to find any further cases before the court of law in Odisha. We then that march after aftermath incident by another group of people. Then I went to the head of the organization, Kalin Kansalvi. What he told me that can you file this in the if you give me all the details. Then I gave the detailed paper cutting of the Orissa state. It was not in any other language, but I hand translated this to in English. My point was here that if a march from a place to another place is about 30 kilometers, it, as aftermath of that march can create such type of violent situation all through the country and the state. Then the march all through the state can ignite the war. Then people gave order. No, the march cannot be before 2 days. One day before the march, well, the court gave this order. That was the conflict. Give me that taking newspaper cutting, giving your reason with the prima facie, you can file any case for the interest of public. When this thing happened, made one, and I had lot of newspaper cutting and the analysis of the case 2007 to 10 in Maidvan, where all case related to something where Mr. SGR case. So I talked to my friend, senior lawyer in the Odisha High Court. Then we drafted, I told that we can take the reference of another case in India, that Visakha guideline. It is that guideline later on become the prevention of sexual harassment and the working place, the law become like. So we took the reference of this thing, then we approached the High Court. Public interest litigation is that if, as you asked, that it is for the interest of the public. If the court that necessary, then court take the decision about such type of cases and can give judgment. But this is a very historic judgment. You can say that the state, the High Court has given the direction to the state government to have a separate guideline. My case was filed in 2011 July, and it was taken. The first date was 3rd of August 2011, and 2012 another petitioner also joined co-applicant in 2012 April, and then the decision was kept aside to consider their application, and the court gave the order to the high state government to frame a guideline for within 1 year. They should also place it before the assembly and have a correct end. And I have shared the document with you. You can find in the para 10 and para 13. Para 13 is about the preventive measure, what type of preventive measure the state government takes. So very specifically, they have given the order. So I am also following the order of the High Court till today and the action taken by the government. By 2013, 13, October, November 3, it was placed before the assembly in 2014, February, the legislation came. Post 2014 also I have shared another document. The government came out with one specific that all the cases shall be taken as state practice. I mean, from the very beginning, the crime branch will follow up it. till it is being disposed of by the district court. It is a process where the both police and the court will be careful enough to ensure that the case has been processed and the case has been disposed. In 2022 October, that was the maybe where 9 persons had been convicted as for punishment for the offense they made by killing people and also burning them, and also after burning they have already put put them into the that is covered in the soil, and they made all the evidence and everything, removed the evidence. Lot of other crime was also being committed by them. The thing is that here I would like to say, when we are talking about PIL, we are talking of the justice and the law. The law ultimately all the final decisions are being taken by them. So as per the rule of law, we will not quote them or implement the law. Still, that is the responsibility of all. So I'm also looking at making people aware of the citizens' right and responsibility that way. So isolatedly, no judiciary, no police people can perform their work efficient for this. PIL is what the tool one can go and use for the public interest. But it is not being that means the responsibility of the court of law or the police is not ending there. But it is again the beginning of general citizens to support the whole process of implementation. It is very much not in the mind of the people in general that they have a greater responsibility to support the process of the implementation of the law for the people. As I very repeatedly I told that which is not in nature of Dahani. Dahani is not Odia of the language which we are being used to or using. Connotation language is more richer. You have to redefine the language for the women. Globally, what we understand as woman and me in relation to me is very much different. What I have been brought up in the perception of the woman, what I feel that I'm woman, and I'm lucky to be a woman. It is not in comparison. Compare myself to men. I'm fighting compare myself as with men. Not a woman, who was it? So this is my understanding. What I witness very later part of my working that globally the understanding of women is not the same. You need to see that how we can make the understanding of women as women as energy of this earth. There are a lot of other things we need to talk about. So maybe not on this teacher. This was written specifically to talk about the maybe the law related to implement witching. But the way it comes with the heat of the war of which different other countries is different. We have to talk about witchcraft. We talk about witchcraft. There is a lot of um, gray area of talking of witchcraft. The language we are using, we never question the language. So we have to start asking the language whether it's been used for them. In Odia, I have taken one. I could say when I started going to the dictionary in Odia. What is the meaning of Dahan? I read through the pages to about 2 pages, 2.5 pages, I think. And at the pages when it's been told that women is Dahan in Odia is called Vistakai, Tuakai, Vista means the women who eat the human extra. In the night and going out, eating that thing. And the woman who is the child in the womb, chua kaidahan in Odia. So these are the language being learned there. But end of the explanation saying that it is being derived from what people say. But what I can learn in my way, the way I've been brought up, that the language, if we refer that most scientific language is Sanskrit. So the Sanskrit, the formation of the language very much like the has connotation. The language, the word has meaning. What the word has been formed with some meaning, some quality, like in physics and chemistry when we are defining water, we are talking of the composition of the water. When we are saying that there is no one is Dahan, anything anyone is Dahan is punishable in the law. It's crime. And alleged crime, alleging someone in any name, whether it is Dani or we or Dan or student.
Mary Louise Bingham is back with a minute with Mary.
One evening in January of 2024, a man was sleeping soundly when 2 intruders cautiously entered his hut and murdered him. Shortly after, they callously threw his body in the river. The victim was 55-year-old Lakma Kawasi from a small village in the tribal area known as the Hinterlands in Odisha, India. Lakma was accused as a Dian, the Odisha word for witch, after 3 people in his village succumbed to various illnesses. Among his 2 accusers was his cousin, who believed Lakma practiced black magic to cause the death of 3 of his family members. Not knowing the sad incident of the previous night, Lakma's worried family searched for their missing loved one, only to discover that the other villagers found Lakma's body near the riverbank. The 2 perpetrators did appear in court, though their fate is not yet known. Please read, then share to your social media channels the full story titled Justice for Lakma, which is linked in the show notes. Spreading awareness is key to possibly saving another person from this cruel fate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Now here's Sarah with this week's edition of In Witch Hunts News.
Thanks for tuning in today to this very special interview. Our podcast has had the opportunity to look in detail at various aspects of witch hunts across time and the globe because of our generous guests. This wonderful oral history and the life work experiences shared by Sashiprava Bindhani today greatly enriches our nonprofit's podcast catalog. Keep enriching your mind by listening to our other episodes focusing on India. These prestigious interviews peel back layers of cultural context and sociocultural dynamics, legal frameworks, and regional needs, including laws and enforcement, gender dynamics, gender violence, spirituality, superstitions and harmful practices, and vulnerable populations. Many of our guests from India and elsewhere will be attending an important conference in Lancaster, England in September. Our current fundraiser is for this trip. If you'd like to contribute, please donate on our website, endwitchhunts.org. We can reach our goal with your support. We have the opportunity to attend this conference focused on the human rights issues of witch hunting, hosted by the International Network Against Accusations of Witchcraft and Associated Harmful Practices. This event will debut a powerful photo exhibit focusing on harmful practices related to accusations of witchcraft and the humanity of people who are accused of being witches globally today. Josh has 3 photos featured in this exhibit, and it would be incredibly meaningful for him to be present at its reveal. This exhibit will travel internationally to raise awareness about these important issues, and your gift makes our participation possible. Additionally, we will gain valuable knowledge and continue invaluable connections that will enhance our interviews and research for our education and advocacy projects, ultimately enriching the content we produce to educate the world. Your donation at endwitchhunts.org will give us the opportunity to present on our recent exoneration and memorial work in New England, particularly the historic and landmark legislation in Connecticut that formally absolved the witch trial victims of the Connecticut colony. That was H.J. 34, a resolution concerning certain witchcraft convictions in colonial Connecticut. If you'd like to contribute to this upcoming opportunity, please donate on our website, endwitchhunts.org. We appreciate anything you can give. Thank you once again for listening, sharing, and supporting us. Together, we have made a difference. Until next time, talk about it. Stay engaged.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
And thank you for tuning in to this episode of Witch Hunt.
Join us every week.
Have a great today and a beautiful tomorrow.